Hi, this is Rich Harrington for Photofocus, your photography podcast that comes to you on the 5th, 15th, and 25th of each month. I recently had a chance to sit down with Frank Doorhof, who is a great international photographer specializing in fashion photography, but he had a lot of great things to say. I think you're going to enjoy the interview with him because he shares how he went from running a business all about computers and technology to switching to becoming a professional photographer. And this journey only took him a few years. Frank has a very inspirational story, and I think a lot of you who are looking to get into photography more or looking to make it a business are going to really enjoy what he has to say and his insight on how to work with people to get better, more personable portraits.
And give people a little bit of perspective. A lot of our listeners may not have discovered you yet. I don't mean to put it this way, anything other than to say we're predominantly American and we don't often look outside our own country. So tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm focused at the fashion photographer and celebrities. I'm based in the Netherlands, and just recently I started doing my blog in the morning hours. So every day at 7 a.m. in the morning I update the blog, and before that it was 2 hours later. So I missed the late Americans, and somehow that worked really well because the blog has exploded in the amount of views.
So 7 a.m. Netherlands time would be about 6 o'clock Eastern?
Probably 6. No, it's at this time we have a 9 hour ahead.
Okay.
So it's late at the evening. It's early in the morning, Richard. Sorry. My mind is still asleep.
It's okay.
So
fortunately, you've been to enough Photoshop worlds that you don't just think all of America is like Las Vegas at this point, right?
Really? Are you kidding? No, I love America. You know what I like about America? It's the whole approach you have to people. It's open and friendly, and from the first minute you meet, it's always nice. And in Europe, it's more like you have to get to know somebody and then you open up. So it's a little bit the other way around. And for me personally, I like to be open to people. So I really like the Americans.
So let's talk about fashion photography. How is this a field that you broke into? Did you, is most of your work in the Netherlands, or has it become international at this point?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. I've grown up with grandparents and parents who were very much into photography and video. Imagine they had one of the first Betamax recorders, so you had to really press a button and then you would like click, a videotape coming out. So I was mesmerized by all the video and all the stuff. And the first time that MTV aired in the Netherlands, we were there with in front of the television and keep scanning the channels until MTV popped up. So I always had something with video clips, photography, stills, darkroom stuff. And then when I grew older, I knew earning your money in photography is like, it's almost impossible. I always say as a joke, if you want to earn money in photography, sell all your gear, because that's when you make the money. So I started doing a business school, and I did a business school, and I finished business school, and I started a recording studio. That didn't work out because my partner wasn't all that commercially, to put it mildly.
Yes.
And just before the ship went under, I said,
just because we think it's a really cool artist to work with, if they can't pay us anything, we can't let them use the studio.
Correct. And he was like, oh, let's let them use the studio. It's good for our name. So we did a lot of TFP. Anyway, so just before the ship went under, I said, you know what, I'll leave. And maybe that's when the ship went under. And I started doing an international trading company. And we did stuff with wireless telephones. And in between, I still did my photography. Slowly, that grew into a computer company and still do my photography. And with the computer company, we did something that was really unique. We started making computers, especially for guys who did video and who did photography.
What were they called, if I may ask?
The computers?
Yeah.
We called them the dream machines or the heavy user machines. Okay. So we just gave them our own name. That was in the time that you still built your own computers. Now it's all from a folder or whatever. And what they did is we used the fast AV cards. So the first one. So when you rendered a movie, it took you all night, right. And then you looked.
I've been editing video on computers since 1994. I remember all the slugs.
Yeah. Oh my.
We used to have buttons, and we would walk around the office, and the button would say, I'm rendering, which was the cue for everyone else to go, like, there's nothing else I can do, which is why it looks like I'm loafing. Yeah. And those were the days when even Photoshop, you would check that preference, beep when done.
Yes, correct.
You could walk away from the computer and you would just wait for it to go ding. I finished running that filter 10 minutes later.
Correct. And don't even think about moving the mouse.
Yeah.
Because everything would crash. So, and still I was doing photography, but I was doing mainly... I think I mainly shot like animals, not cats, by the way, but birds. And I always waited for that moment that the bird flew away, to have that little bit of motion, that little bit of difference.
Did you develop good scary faces to make them fly away quicker?
Well, at first I just tried to do... And that didn't work, and people thought I was the village idiot. So I was like, you know what, I just don't do it anymore. And then I started doing video, and I just stopped photography. And suddenly at 9/11, we were in Indianapolis doing a trade show for home theater, because our company was also big in home theater. And at 9/11, 2001, everything changed. I drove through Indianapolis, and I only had my video camera with me. And I was like, I really need a stills camera for this. So as soon as we came back to the Netherlands, I bought a DSLR and I started doing DSLR work. And I loved that very much. Before that, by the way, I had the Kodak digital camera, but I just left it at home because it was just my hobby camera. We just had a son, he's now 13, and just pictures around the house, but nothing that was my hobby work. And I started shooting with the DSLR, joined a local local photo club. And there was a guy there and he only shot trees. And I was so bored with him. And he showed slides of trees and trees and trees. And there was one guy, he was a little bit younger. And he did fashion photography, actually portraiture.
Right.
And we had to choose a workshop between portraiture and trees. And I was a nature photographer and sports like motocross. I loved soccer. And I had to choose between the two. And I knew one thing for sure. If I go to a forest with a guy who shoots tree, only one of us would come back. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do portraiture. So I did the workshop portraiture, and somehow I loved it because my idea of a fashion photographer was somebody in outrageous clothing, running around like you see in America's Top Model, like, wow, beautiful colors, great. And I was like, I was the sports photographer, so the cool guy.
And for our listeners, you look much more like a linebacker than, Peter
Yeah, much more. I know. Oh, yeah. So anyway, I started doing the portraiture, and somehow with the first click, you sometimes heard it, when the first click, it clicked. For me, it was that way. And I went on the internet, found out about a photographer named Dean Collins, and I started really absorbing everything he did. And I started doing model photography. At first, I started really slow, like one shoot each month. Then slowly we built it up. Actually, slowly, within, I think, 3 months, I was shooting like every 3 minutes I had, I was shooting with a model. And then suddenly I got a call from a famous Dutch piano player. Do you want to do my portfolio? And he was a friend of us and a customer of our computer company. And I said, yes, of course. And I hang up, and I was totally panicking. It was like, I went to Annaviek, my wife, and I said, you won't believe what I just did. I'm going to shoot Vibi and I don't know what to do. And she said, relax, take your pills. It will be okay. And I was like, yeah, but I don't even know how to shoot a celebrity. And then she said, just do it like your models. And actually, he was one of the first male models I would shoot. So I think I can't let him pose like a female model. So I was very quickly looking through websites with images of celebrities and was like, yeah, but there's no classical piano player celebrity that's been photographed the way that I like.
You mean the Liberace hands up?
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to do that stuff. So Liberace is not that famous in the Netherlands, by the way.
For good reason, but go ahead.
Oh, my. I have to look him up on Google. I think I know who he is. Anyway, so I did a photo shoot, and I think that actually saved me by not knowing what I was doing. So I went in totally fresh, and because my subject 100% trusted me because I was his friend, and we had the whole day, and that's unique, of course, that you have a whole day. We started doing the photo shoot, and somehow the images turned out totally different than what people are used to from a celebrity. Everybody loved the images. I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of questions from people like, do you want to shoot us? And at that time, I said to Annaviek, the computer company grew really big, but I can't divide myself between like 100 hours work week. I already clocked in like 60, and I was getting tired of it. I was like, oh man. So we hired some extra personnel for the computer store, and Annaviek actually took over my company. And I started doing photography, and slowly it went into that. Now, as budgets went down for magazines, magazines. I stopped doing the magazines. And I was like, okay, what can I do now? The normal photo shoots don't earn a lot of money. And somebody said to me, do you teach workshops? And I'm like, no. Because the only one I knew was Dean Collins.
Right.
And I looked at his workshop stuff and I was like, I'm not even close. And then somebody showed me some other stuff that was on YouTube. And I looked at the YouTube stuff, and that was so incredibly worse that I said, okay, I can do something that's in between there.
There's a spectrum, yes.
Yeah, there's a spectrum. And
it's like when I walk into a Scott Kelby class, I'm like, I'm not him. But then people are like, I loved your class. It's like, oh, I guess I do have something to say.
Yes, correct. And it's about personality. It's about what you do, how open you are, and what you teach. So I started doing a program, and because I didn't want to just go into teaching, I wrote a program, and I did my first workshop, and I told people there will be only one. Okay. And that slowly grew into 2, 3, 4. And fast forward now, I'm teaching twice a week in our studio in the Netherlands. We do the Doorhof is always open, the video webcast. RC said a few years ago, you have to have a WordPress website and update it at least once a week. And I looked RC straight in the face and said, I'm not a blogger. He says, you don't have to be a blogger. Now, fast forward again 2 years, and I'm updating it every day. And we have news on there. We have technical articles. We have images. Like now I'm traveling. We have guest bloggers like Douglas Sanders, Glyn Dewis, Armé. Everybody's doing a guest blog for me. And I'm updating it myself from the States. But now I don't have the pressure to do it every day. So it slowly grew into something that's really big. And of course, Photoshop World, joining Kelby Media was, for me, I'm still in a roller coaster. It's incredible what's happened the last 2-3 years.
Let's take just a quick moment to thank a couple of our sponsors who help us bring Photofocus to you. First up is ShootProof, which offers online photo proofing. So if you're looking for a real easy way to proof and sell your photos online, be sure to check these guys out. They do a great job of making it easy to put a site together, and then you can use that site to share your photos with your clients or people that you want them to take a look, maybe loved ones, other peers. And the cool thing, though, is when you're ready to offer print or fulfillment, they can go ahead and connect you up with some of the best printing labs out there. When you order, those prints will go out to wherever you need them to. So be sure to take a look at them. They do offer a free plan, so you can try them out and get up and running. And then they got a bunch of other plans that are super affordable. And I think if you are looking for a great way to host your images online, be sure to check them out. I'd also like to welcome Drobo to the show. I have been a long-time Drobo user, and I find their hard drive systems to be super reliable. I use them in my office and at my home studio as well. And I have found that through the years, Drobo has done a great job, and I'm really excited by their new product line. I've been using both the 5D and the Drobo Mini for my workflow. Keeps my data safe, all my files secure, and I really like the new speed and the performance of the new units. We're very glad to have Drobo on the show as a sponsor. And if you haven't had a chance, be sure to head over to photofocus.com and check out Scott's detailed review of the new Drobo 5D. All right, let's jump back in with Frank and hear some of the new things he has to share about where his photography is going.
So now that you're doing this and you're balancing the education side with still doing shoots, when you're working with new students, what are some of the biggest mistakes, or even people who feel that they're well into their careers, they're taking a workshop? What's the biggest baggage that people are bringing with them that's keeping them from becoming a better photographer?
Oh, I thought about that question many, many times because it's the first thing people ask. And I think the answer is a little bit weird.
Okay.
As soon as you start thinking about earning money, you're doing it wrong. And as soon as you start loving your work, as soon as you start caring for your work and passionate, then the money will come. Like we do the celebrities, and it's in the Netherlands, the celebrity world is like if you shoot one, the others will follow. Okay. And I'm always doing the first one, I'm doing for free.
Okay.
Like I have like a step system. If I start with a beginning band, I will do the beginning band for free. Then if the next beginning band calls me, I say, okay, these are the images. You actually like them, so this is our fee. Then when a better band calls, we do that band for free. The next band in that same level, we charge. And at this time, I think we shot most of the celebrities in the rap music and in the classical music in the Netherlands. So we pretty much covered that area. And we're now slowly moving into video clips and starting to do that stuff. So we do like 3 or 4 video clips we do for free just to get your skills there. Now, a lot of people will say, Frank, you're absolutely nuts. Why would you be shooting people for free? Because you're devaluating the actual amount of money you can earn from photography. What I say, it's very simple. You have to do stuff for free because if you want to be the best in your career, you must be able to make mistakes. And if you're on a paid gig, you can make mistakes. So what we do for our celebrities, for example, they hire us for the press releases. And those are shots of maybe 10, 20 minutes. And then I always say, okay, I want to do it for free. However, there's one catch. The first 20 minutes are for free. After that, I want 1 hour of your time. If you don't want to spend that hour of your time, I'm sorry, our studio is not open yet because we don't know yet what to do.
Right.
And at that time, people were a little bit reluctant. On the other hand, they were like, you know what, it takes us 90 minutes of our time. Just let's try it. And then the first 20 minutes, we take the normal press shots, the headshots.
Yeah.
The really simple stuff. The stuff I don't want to be known for.
Everybody can take.
Yes, I don't want to be known for that. My intern can take those shots. And then we start playing around. And actually, we're combining the model stuff, the glamour, with the celebrities. And they all love those shots. And after that, because we did it for free, they're like, Frank, you're amazing. We love you. And we're going to tell everybody about you. And then I always say, okay, don't tell them I did it for free. No, of course not. But I'm going to give you so many customers. And they all use the stuff that we shot in the second part of the photo shoot. And that's the stuff where you can freak. Now, if you're as a photographer locked into the earning money part, you will never, ever do the creative stuff because you're too afraid to make that mistake. And if you start making money, you have to start making money because you're passionate about it and you know what you're doing. You have to play around with your subjects. And I hear from a lot of the celebrities we shoot that they come into a photo shoot and that there's a certain move in the photo shoot, if you know what I mean, a sort of anxiety amongst the photographers, setting up their lights, playing around with the settings, getting the shots in, closing the laptop lid. No, you can't see this yet. We have to do retouching. In our studio, there's a big screen. The images come straight in. And only when I see that somebody, a model or a celebrity or whatever, is looking at the screen, I will flag it. And I will say, no, that's for the light. And then I know I have their full attention. But normally I say to my sitter, I said, don't look at the screen. Yeah. Only look at the first 3 images, and that's okay. And 90% they will just look straight at me, forget about the monitor. So there are no secrets with us. They see what's coming in. And you know my motto, why fake it when you can create it? So all the images that come out of the camera are already okay.
Good. And give people a practical piece of advice. How do you establish that relationship with your subject? And what do you do before the shoot? What do you do at the start of the shoot so that you really feel like you have a connection and that they can trust you and open up?
Okay, I will never ever start with the shoot straight away. I will give them something to drink. For models, we have an intern, and our interns are always female. And sometimes that will give a little bit of a problem with guys who want to do an internship. But I always tell you have to realize that some of the models who come in are inexperienced. Now imagine, they know I'm a photographer, they know I'm male. Now they come in and there's an 18-year-old guy. And they want to do, let's say, a boudoir shoot or lingerie, or maybe just they're scared. And an 18-year-old guy is totally different than an 18-year-old girl. And they come in and they chat with my intern. They're totally relaxed. I stay a little bit behind. And then when I see that they're relaxed, they have something to drink, then I will start joining the conversation. Show them some stuff on the computer. What do you want to do? Oh, I really like this shot. Okay, we're going to do this. And then we start out with just simple headshots. And I will immediately show them the images. Now, if she's really, really not good as a model, and she's like a normal person, what I will do is I will disconnect the monitor. And as soon as we have the first images in, I will say, okay, I see a little bit of a problem in your makeup. Can you please go to the makeup artist and change it? And very quickly, I will delete all the images that are wrong. Mm-hmm. And the first image that's on screen is a killer image, because I only stop when I know I have that killer image. And it's simple psychology. As soon as she sees the killer image, she will go like, oh my, is that me? Wow. And she will loosen up. Now, and we try this, if you show all the images, she will go like, oh no, is that me? Yeah, but that's the first image. Yeah, but it looks really terrible. And you show the next image. Oh, look at my nose. Yeah, sorry, it's your nose. I don't have a magic camera. And, oh no, look at my eyes. And then they see the killer image and it's like, well, I think this is okay. And they're already, they've seen so many bad images. So start out with the killer shot. Now for the rest of the shoot, I will give, especially with the celebrities, I will give my sitter the absolute confidence that if they do something that's not correct, the image will be deleted. We did a photo shoot with a dancer, and he's also an actor in a movie. And he wanted something extreme. And I said, you know what? Tear open your shirt, give a big screen towards the camera. And he said, yeah, but that's totally different than what I normally do. I said, dude, you're a dancer. You're an expressive dancer. Come on. And he did it, and just wasn't there. If you don't go for 150, if you go for 100% on a camera, it will look bad. You have to go over. I always say to my models, if the pose hurts, you're almost there. So it didn't work. And the first thing I showed him was I deleted the image straight away and I emptied the trash can. He said, okay. And I said, you know why I did this? To give you the confidence that if you don't like something, I will not only delete it, because when I delete it, it's still on my computer. But I also emptied the trash can. So this image is gone forever. I said, now let's take the next one. And that gave him the confidence to go that 150%. He did it. He looked at the image. He said, that one I love. His agent was there. He was sitting there. He said, oh my, this is one of the best images we ever got of him. And he said to me, on stage, I never hold back. Every photo shoot I do, I hold back because the photographers, first, they aren't confident. They are, what I tell you, that little piece of anxiety in the photo shoot. They're nervous. And I'm nervous, trust me, but I don't reflect it. And he said, with you, I have so much confidence. This is the image I want to use. And it's run in a lot of national magazines. And it's the image he uses now. But you have to find that confidence in your sitter.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing such great practical advice for people that are looking to work with their subjects and really bring them to life. And I really like your approach of, thinking about how your subject is going to feel. So that's some excellent advice. You've mentioned your blog. Give people the URL, and are there any other resources that you've done that they should check out? Yeah,
the blog is at www.frankdoorhof.com. And of course, kelbytraining.com. There are 7 videos now, and 2 more will be added in the coming months.
Excellent.
And it's updated every day, the blog, so check it out.
Thank you so much, Frank, for joining us.
We have 2 more sponsors I'd like to thank. First up is Epson. If you are looking for the industry standard in high quality printing, make sure you check out the Epson printer line as well as their signature worthy papers. This is a great way to print your own images, take control, and do that printing in your office or at home, and you'll be really happy with the results. We've seen these prints really turn out nice. And I'd also like to thank lynda.com. I actually have a bunch of training over at lynda.com, everything from DSLR video to Photoshop, iPhoto, Aperture, and if you want to go ahead and check that out, we've lined up an exclusive deal, a 10-day free trial, so you can just head on over to the Photofocus website and click on the banner ad, and that will give you a chance to try out a bunch of my training, as well as a ton of other great training titles, absolutely for free. All right, Scott had a chance to catch up with Colin over at ShootProof, and he's got some great stuff to share about how they are approaching the way of sharing your images online. So you've probably heard us talk about ShootProof both on the show and the site. If you'd like to learn more about what those guys are up to, be sure to stay here for this great interview by Scott.
We have a special guest here on today's show. We're going to have a new segment called Sponsor Spotlight. We think it's important for you to know why we selected the sponsors we do to bring the show to you. And that's right, we select the sponsors, not the other way around. Mostly because we won't put anybody on the show that we don't like. If we think their product sucks or doesn't work, we're not going to let them be here. And so to help you understand why we select them, we're going to start bringing them on, once a month, not a lot, but just so you know, it won't be a commercial. It'll be more informational and dialogue. And we're going to start today with Colin Breece, who's the co-founder of ShootProof down in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to Photofocus, Colin.
Hello, Scott. Thanks for having me on.
So you guys are in a crowded field of people who provide a service where photographers can post their pictures online and sell them. when you and I first talked, I asked you to differentiate yourself for me from some of the other people out there. And I was wondering if we could just sort of reprise that conversation for just a few minutes. Give me the top 5 things maybe that you think set ShootProof apart from your competitors.
Certainly, yeah. And I think first, I mean, when you say it's a crowded field, yeah, there are a number of options online, certainly for uploading, sharing, and selling photos. With ShootProof, we add the element of printing into that, which some of the other competitors have out there. So really, with us, we feel like sets us apart is a couple things. First off, I think the model of our business is more pay for what you use. So it's about having all the features from a company. So being able to upload the photos in various ways through, say, a Lightroom plugin or a desktop uploader and so forth, to being able to share those online in private or password protected galleries, but also being able to sell those photos without having any commissions taken. So
that's the part I want to hang on to right away. All of our research shows that model is pretty popular, that the hosting sites take a commission and charge you a monthly rate. You guys don't take any commission, is that correct?
Exactly. There's zero commission fees on self-fulfilled or lab-fulfilled sales. And
that's another thing. You're not locked in. So if you want to make your own prints and sell them through ShootProof, you can do that, or you can pick one of several lab partners. Why don't you name all the lab partners you have?
Yeah, so first we have Bay Photo in Santa Cruz. We have Black River Imaging in Springfield, Missouri, and then also Pro DPI in Inglewood or Denver, Colorado.
So you got 3 different printing companies to choose from. What else?
Yeah, so 3 printing companies, and for us, when we as we're sticking on the commission side, there's really 2 aspects to the selling when you're having the labs fulfill that through a printing or sales partner like a ShootProof, and there's a side of what are you being charged for the prints, and then what commissions are they taking on your sales. So when you use the partner labs with ShootProof, if we are doing the lab fulfillment for your orders, you're allowed to use really their retail costs. So we're not marking up the prints and charging a commission fee. That's all non-existent. ShootProof's model sustains on just paying for the space that you use. So there's various plans you can choose from depending on the amount of photo count that you want to have online at any given time. And there's no contract. So if it's a situation where you need more space at certain parts of the year, if you're busy, a wedding photographer, or you're not really shooting a different time of the year, you can move in and out of the paid plans or even into a free plan that we have. So another big difference is that we give the option not only for 30 days free, but for photographers to use all of ShootProof's features for up to 100 photos for free all the time. So that's really a choice of whether they're ready to either migrate into our service or just want to give it a try for a smaller event. That's a great way to come on board, learn about the features, and see what we feel like is a lot better in terms of the user interface we've set up to make setting up a new account pretty easy.
And that's not crippled in any way, right?
Correct. Yeah, the free account, you can sell, you can lab fulfill everything that the highest paid plan can do, the free plan can do.
I think that's pretty awesome. So the other thing I want to talk about is that you can store up to 28 megabyte file sizes. So in a form, it's almost like an archive or a backup of the image.
Correct, exactly. So you can store up to 28 meg. We don't, we keep the full resolution that's uploaded up to that size. And also, for some photographers that want, may want to have print sales or even just digital sales, they can offer that full resolution for sale to their customers through their ShootProof gallery. So the photographer sets the price, and then they can also offer either that full resolution or 3 different resizes that ShootProof can auto-fulfill for them that they can decide to sell through us. And what that means when I say auto-fulfill is that with ShootProof, they can, we're going to watermark the photo typically, depending on the photographer's preferences when that's uploaded to us. We do retain a copy that's unwatermarked so that if you do print with our labs, of course, or if you want to have us fulfill an unwatermarked copy of the digital to your customer, if they're purchasing that from you, if we're providing that even for free to your clients, we have that copy and are able to either give them that full resolution or the resize you want us to do for sale to your customer.
So there are 2 more key points I want to talk about. I did set up an account, and I got to tell you, those of you who have had experience with our previous sponsors know that it can get pretty hairy at some of these sites trying to build your galleries and set up an account. And I will tell you this, you deserve props. It's about as easy as can be. I did it by myself. I sort of feel like that commercial where the guy makes the stovetop stuffing. Mikey did it by himself. I didn't ask my tech kids for help, which I usually do these days. I actually did it myself. It was pretty straightforward. What did you do in the way of research to figure out how to make the interface so easy to work with?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First off, I'll say ShootProof's really geared just for photographers, and I think when you mention it, it's a bit of it could be a crowded space. I mean, it really depends on how far. Let's use that comment for a minute to explain how we make it so simple for a photographer. Is that whether it's Flickr or Picasso or more in this space like a Smug Mug I'll mention, or even a Zenfolio, those type of companies. A lot of times, some of these companies, even more in our direct space for photographers, we feel like they try to be both the photographer's resource and sort of a photo hosting site, for anyone. For instance, I'll give you an example. Where I went to college, Berry College, a beautiful school in Rome, Georgia, uses a competitive product that, and they're not photographers. It's just to host the school sports photos. So that's fine. You could do that on ShootProof. But when you're trying to gear a website and an interface toward someone who may not be trying to sell or watermark at all, and someone who's trying to run a photography business, protect their images, and have an easy interface, you almost have to bury certain things, I'll say. So we try to put everything out there in a logical way for photographers so that it's easy for them to set up a business. They're our real customers, not the individual. So that's a big piece, I would say, number one. Secondly, I think, we did do a lot of research. I mean, we felt like part of the reason that 3 years ago, Robert Swarthout, my co-founder, and I got into this space is because we felt like it could use a lot of improvement. Certainly, we knew that not only the pricing models in terms of the commissions and the high fees that are taken, is just financially there's an opportunity, because everyone that most people in this business are small companies, right? 1 to 3 person photography companies that really, when you take a large portion of their online sales, that can be, kind of a hit into that side of their business. So we knew there was an opportunity financially to make a difference, but also we felt like, yes, the interfaces when we researched were, whether the galleries look like, they'll use the year 1995 or the, like the interface was just difficult, as you said, to really navigate and build what you want. So we did put a lot of time into making that, logical and, again, just a bit easier to set up as a photographer.
And you set this up not typically the way most people do. You set it up based on how many photos somebody's going to upload, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So that the photographer determines how many they want to upload. So the only limitation in the account at all would be the space you have, not the features you have. Correct.
And so, what does 15,000 photo limit cost?
So the 15,000 photo limit would be $40 per month,
and no commissions.
Correct, no commissions. So there's a 20% discount for without promo codes, even for annual signups, off the bat. And the plans range from the free plan of up to 100 photos, as you mentioned, the 1,500 photo plan, so 1,500 photos in the account at any given time, which is $10 per month. 5,000 is $20 per month. As you mentioned, the 15,000 is $40. And then the 50,000 is $60 per month. And of course, we have photographers with many more photos than that. We have some with over 1 million. So, I mean, there are custom plans for folks that really want to store a lot and sell without the commission model. So we're certainly open to, any size photographer that wants to run their business with us.
Okay, last question, and this is one we get a lot on Photofocus from people who are trying to break into the business. They don't have the credit worthiness or the business acumen or the experience or the track record to get what's called a merchant status from their bank, so they can't accept credit cards. How do you handle that? Do you do that for them?
We do. So we give them the options. We try to, again, in each case, just like the labs, give people options for what works best for them. So we have what we call ShootProof payments. That's one option I'll come back to in 1 second. We also, that's the merchant services through ShootProof that the photographer can leverage. There's no monthly fee to use that. That's available for, again, all plans, just like the free plan. We have PayPal, their basic account, so their basic business account. We have PayPal Pro. They can link in their PayPal Pro account, and also authorize.net. So it's really the photographer's choice what they do. If it's an international photographer, meaning not a U.S.-based photographer, ShootProof payments is not currently available. but for everyone in the U.S. it is. And what ShootProof Payments is, yes, it's a payment gateway. So the photographer can just select that in the drop down on their payment gateway page, and allows them to have ShootProof run the credit or debit cards for their clients, online through their gallery, all seamless. And what's really nice about that, and part of the reason we wanted to roll this out, is that with PayPal you can use the Pro account with them, and there's a monthly fee, just like with Authorize.net, to use their Pro business account. So you pay a monthly fee to have a more seamless experience, meaning have folks not have to go to PayPal to check out. You can use the basic option, which is, you have to be sent to PayPal. So we've heard customers tell us, all the time, well, it's a little confusing. My client's not sure if they have to check out, log into PayPal to check out, or can they use their card or not. They get a little confused, and the experience is just not as good. So that's why we created, ShootProof Payments, and the fee to use ShootProof Payments, the credit card processing charge, we made it the same as PayPal, so it's 2.9% plus 30 cents. So if they choose to use us as the gateway, that's an option, and we make it a simple flat fee, whether it's American Express, whatever card their client wants to use is fine. It's the same flat fee that they can expect to see.
Well, I like that. There's a lot of flexibility in the plan, and it's very affordable. You can, as you said, you can move out of plans into plans. You can have 15,000 photos one month and 100 photos the next if you want. So I think this is really cool. We do have a special code that you've been nice enough to offer to our listeners. That code is BORN, like my name, or like the BORN identity, BOURNE 20. That gets you 20% off any plan. Now, the thing I want to ask you to do for our listeners, Colin, is it seems like a big commitment, but I want to ask you to be available to help them if they get bogged down or screwed up or messed up in the application of setting up their account. Can I count on you for that?
Absolutely. And do you want me to mention the match we're doing as well? As
yeah, you got a new thing. I forgot. You got a new thing which is going to be more helpful. If people want to come over from another service, you got an offer for that too.
Exactly. So we have what we call, we just released this morning, actually, the competitor match, we call it. So what that means is, if you're coming over for a competitive service to ShootProof and you're feeling you have time left in that plan, whether it's a year or 4 months, whatever it may be, and you want to make it easier to make that transition to really, really get into ShootProof, we'll match any time left you have with that competitor dollar for dollar into a ShootProof account, not require you to sign on for a year beyond that. It's no strings attached, and that'll give you a chance to come on over, start taking advantage of ShootProof and the no commissions side of it as well. So we do want to offer that, and I appreciate that, Scott.
Well, it sounds to me like you've done everything you can. And now it's just up to the photographers in our audience to decide. We brought you ShootProof because we think they do a good job. We'd like for you to test them and come back to us and let us know what you think. It doesn't cost you a penny to get a 100 image account, so there's no reason not to at least try that. And Colin, I really appreciate your commitment to our audience that you'll be there to help if they have problems. But based on how easy it was for me to set it up, I don't think they will. But we're glad to have your support of the show, and thanks for coming on and explaining how ShootProof works for us.
Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone needs support, it's support@shootproof.com, or we do have a phone number as well. We're happy to help that way. It's 626-607-4686. So thanks very much, Scott.
Brave man giving out his phone number on the podcast. Thanks a lot, Colin.
Thank you, Scott.